Holy schmoly. We are back. The Skeptic Fence Show is back. Negation of P. David Fitzgerald. Are you both there?
I'm here.
What is going on? How's it feel, Negation?
Oh, it feels really good, man. I've been looking forward to this for at least a couple of months now. I was a little hesitant, as you know, for a while, but I think, we're definitely we're up for it, and I think this ought to be really fun, especially with the changes and everything that we're looking at doing. So.
Absolutely. You're 100% right, and we've talked about this for many months also. So, yeah, we're pretty excited, guys. Mr. David Fitzgerald, are you there? Are you unmuted? But anyway, we'll wait until David gets back. But anyway, guys, we're pretty excited about the show. The reason being is that the show's going to be more interactive. It's going to be about you guys. It's going to be about the viewers. We just created a forums, I guess, 4 months ago, and we got about 40 people already signed up on it. So, guys, and Talladega Tom is our moderator. He moderates the forums, and thank you, Talladega Tom, for posting that. Right on cue, man. That was really good. But, guys, it's interactive, the forums. You guys are going to basically decide what topics we talk about. So it's very imperative that you guys go over there, register on the forums, and really, send us topics, send us video links, send us, just anything. Just let us know what we should talk about. What should we bring up in a skeptic's viewpoint? What should we discuss? That's what we want. What topics? So that being said, Negation, you got anything to say on top of that? What I just said?
Yeah, I think that most people know what the format was before, and at least at first, we're going to stick to that. But at the same time, we definitely want to hear input, what we can do better, what we need, what y'all would like to see. And we're also going to open it up. I think everybody knows from the last time, it was more or less restricted to more of skepticism against religion in general, if not specifically Christianity.
Correct.
And, this format, what we want to do is we want to be open to anything from, conspiracy theories,
UFOs,
psychics, UFOs, cryptozoology like Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
Basically anything that makes a big claim, we want to investigate. And the main thing is, guys, is we want to go into it with a true skeptic's viewpoint, to where we don't know what's real. Give these people that make these claims a place to air what they feel is real and a chance to prove what they say. And just let everyone be their own judge. I don't think we're going to come to a consensus by any means at the end of every show. But at the same time, I think that we'll be able to hopefully debunk some things. And who knows, we may be able to verify some stuff.
Correct.
But the main thing is, guys, we want topics that you guys are interested in. That's why we set up the Skeptic Fence webpage. So please go over there, hit us up. The forums are active right now.
That's right. And we created a lot of forums over there, a lot of different types of forums. So you can go navigate it, and there's a lot of different forums over there, guys. There really is. So go over there, navigate it, check it out. It's pretty cool. And Negation, don't mean to cut you off, but real quick, guys, we are giving this book away tonight. The Mormons by David Fitzgerald, our guest tonight. Okay, what you have to do to win this book is go to our forums. That's number one. To register, we're giving you time, so we want to make this contest, or at least this, to win this book as even as possible, is to go to the forums and you got to register, okay? Because you just can't reply to the question, okay? Or you can't reply your answer to the question, I should say, to win this book. So make sure you go over there right now and register. There's the link right there, skepticfence.freeforums.org. The link's also down below if you're on Vaughn Live TV. Also, you can watch this show on our website now, on the front page of our website, skepticfence.com, which is pretty cool too, in HD quality, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So we're giving
if you happen to be watching this on YouTube and you don't want to feel tied down, a rerun of this on YouTube, we are going to also post again to iTunes on the podcast section.
Absolutely.
So you can take it with you on your iPhone or anything else.
Correct. And this book is also signed by our guest tonight, Later Day Saints by Dave Fitzgerald. Also, yes, correct on YouTube, iTunes, I should say. Yes, guys, we need somebody that's willing to, I know, to have a free account on iTunes. There's a lot of stages you need to do, a lot of stages you got to go through to post a audio clip for free, like a podcast for free on iTunes. I need somebody willing to learn that if you don't know it already, or if you do know it, that's great. We're looking to not hire people, but have more people involved, like a crew, like a Skeptic Fence crew, that are responsible for certain things for the show, like somebody to post our iTunes, and like Talladega Tom, that is basically our moderator. I'm like, there's not much for him to moderate, like he said. It's basically opinions vary, and we accept all opinions on the forums. That being said, so we're always looking for people to help work, for the show, like a Skeptic Fence crew. And we're going to expand, guys. We're going to be looking into merchandising. We're going to be getting merchandise, shirts, coffee cups, stuff like that. There's no doubt. And that's going to be coming in the near future, no doubt. And we want your opinions on that. What kind of merchandise would you purchase, for the Skeptic Fence Show, or from the Skeptic Fence Show? So that's what we're looking at. So let me ask our guest here if he's here yet. David, are you back? Are you here?
He was saying that I got a Skype message from him saying his mic was dead, so he's working out that technical stuff and trying to get back with us.
Absolutely, that's no problem. That's no problem whatsoever. Yeah. We can go into our first topic if we want. Let me see what other notes I have here. I think that's all I have, really, guys. I know the website is really not the best it could be right now. The reason being is we're in the middle of revamping it. So there's going to be a blog section for us, or blog section that me and Negation are going to be doing, and basically spring cleaning. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's going to be really awesome when we get it done. So Negation, anything else before we get to our first topic?
No, so let's go ahead and roll, because I'm sure we're going to have lots of call-ins for David, and hopefully he'll get his mic done.
Exactly. So the first topic we're going to be discussing is the title, which is a pretty cool title. Shutstorm 2013, America sits on its balls, bias on Bullshit Mountain. So let's get the Bullshit Mountain with Jon Stewart. This is funny. So here we go.
You know what? I can't even stand to talk about this anymore. For the sake of my sanity and the sake of your sanity, let's just stop talking about it and go out to a longtime federal employee who has seen the effects of this shutdown firsthand. Let's go out to him now. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Bear. We appreciate it.
Hey, Johnny, I am a huge fan of yours. Huge fan. Please, by the way, call me Smokey.
Thank you, Smokey. Listen, I can't help but notice that this country's most beloved fire safety spokesbear.
Yeah, it's bear. It's a bear.
Is smoking.
Well, John, I'm not really on the job right now, am I, huh? And by the way, I have to say, you're lucky I'm even wearing these stupid mom jeans they put me in, huh?
Let me ask you this, Smokey. Has the shutdown been difficult for you?
Let me get this straight. You're asking me if it's hard to get laid off of a job I've held since 1944?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking me?
I think that's what I asked you, yeah.
All right, now let me ask you a question.
Of course.
Do I in the woods? It's a good question, John. Do I?
Actually,
John, let me stop you right there. I actually have a Winnebago, but hey, spoiler alert: most bears do in the woods. The point is, John, I'm very upset right now. Very upset.
I understand that, Smokey, but listen, you're still a healthy bear with a long resume. You ought to be able to find a temporary job pretty easily, I would think.
Yeah, believe it or not, I've been looking on Craigslist a little bit. Well, they got a lot of guys on there looking for bears.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's the job that you're.
What do you mean? It says looking for bears. What else could that mean? I mean, is there any other way to interpret looking for bears?
There is a subculture of men
John,
out there.
listen. It's the easiest money I've ever made in my life.
All right, I understand that. You know what?
The bear's gotta eat.
I don't need the details. It's fine.
Listen, John, look, what I'm saying is this, in case everyone here is unclear, right?
All right.
I, Smokey the Bear, beloved American icon, have been given hand for money.
All right. Nice.
That's how I do it.
That's nice.
Listen, this has been real fun, though. I had a blast. Thank you.
All right, take care. Whoa! Hey, come back here. You're going to throw a lit cigarette on the ground. You, Smokey the Bear, are going to throw a lit cigarette on the ground?
Oh, you want me to go put that out? How about this? You pay me, John, all right?
to the bear, everybody. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah, I mean the shutdown is just absolute horse shit. I mean, as far as my opinion is if I was Obama and they wanted to shut it down, I'd shut it the fuck down. And what I mean by that is if you look at what is actually shut down, it's stuff that I don't want to say doesn't matter, but we can live without. You know, I mean, just like in that clip, a national parks, not being able to go to national parks is not going to kill anybody. They're, you know, the rangers are still there. In fact, you know, if you kind of want to go through the list of, you know, the people that aren't there are still working. I mean, anything that has to do with what they consider key government functions are still going to work. In fact, any employee that provides anything that has to do with national security, protects life and property, emergency medical services, law enforcement, disaster assistant, overseeing the banking system, the power grid, guarding any federal property, even sending benefits, you know, like Social Security and veterans benefits, all of those people are still going to work. And Congress is getting paid. They shut down the government and they still get paid. Now, here's what I would do if I'm an Obama. I'm going to say, okay, you idiots want to call for a shutdown of the government? We're shutting it down. You're not getting paid. We will not have firefighters. We will not have law enforcement. The military, I'm bringing every one of them home, and they won't get paid. Now, if they knew that was what it meant to shut the government down, how much do you think those jackasses would be bluffing and playing this little game?
They wouldn't be bluffing whatsoever.
Exactly. If it really meant shutting it down. Now, here's the flip side of that. Even as much as I'm sitting there and kind of marginalizing how, I guess, non-effective the quote-unquote shutdown is, we still have to remember there's $300 million a day that is lost from the economy because of people not getting paid. That means we're over $1 billion now that's been lost out of the economy this week alone, because these jackasses decide that they're not going to frickin' play fair. I mean, that's the only way I know how to put it. So they're going to cost an economy that, granted, sucks ass right now.
Yep.
They admit it sucks, but they're going to suck $1 billion of revenue out of it. Now, they're saying they care about the people. They're doing it for the people. How in the fuck does that in any way, shape, or form reflect doing something for the people? I'm gonna let you get in because I will definitely ramble.
No, I think, you know, it boils down to where they're still upset that Obama won. That's how I look at it, basically. You know, in a nutshell, is I should say, Boner. You know, he has the right to stop this. You know, there's no need for a government shutdown. You know, and he has the power to, you know, stop it. You know, it's just the GOP playing games, you know, and it boils down to, you know, their values. You know, they're still looking, and to be honest with you, it's their core values that they're, you know, they're pissed off, basically. I should say somewhat they're still pissed off about the Affordable Care Act, or what they would call Obamacare. They're still pissed off about that shit, man.
Well, when they vote,
they're trying to delay that for another year. They're still trying to. One of the proposals from the GOP was to delay it for another year.
Exactly. Well, when you try to rescind it 41 times and spend an estimated $55 million of taxpayer money doing that shit, when you know, even if it passes, even if they got one to go through both the House and the Senate, you really think Obama is not going to veto that flipping bill?
Yep.
And then it's going to flip back and they're going to have to get enough votes to overcome the veto? It's never going to happen. And they know it's not going to happen. All they're doing is selling out to their pundits, selling out to their freaking lobbyists, and selling out to the radical end of their party because they don't want to look, quote unquote, weak, which is absolutely asinine. I mean, my mother-in-law is the perfect example of this, and I hope she doesn't recognize me or doesn't know I'm on tonight, but she's got a heart condition, literally has had a pacemaker for the last 10 to 12 years. And she is a staunch Republican. And even though she cannot get health insurance because she's got a pre-existing condition and she was laid off of her last job, she still fights Obamacare. And it just amazes me to know that she is one of the first recipients that would benefit from this and be able to afford it. And because of lack of a better term, the brainwashing from the right and Fox in particular,
correct,
she's scared to death that, you know, there's going to be these death panels and there's going to be all of this bullshit that is associated with quote unquote socialized healthcare. It's just absolutely infuriating. I mean, we could go all
the way down to,
we
could go down the a socialist path and stuff like that when it comes to healthcare. We could look at the countries that actually do have socialized medicine and look how better off they are than we are. We can go look at that, but you got the Republicans and, you know, Fox News, you know, especially, oh, socialism, they were the fucking Nazi, you know, you gotta look at the Nazi issue that they bring up and shit like that and Stalin. Oh, here we go. Then you gotta look at that. This is with these fucking people, how stupid they are when it comes to this. When it comes to this issue, they don't look at what's happening today when it comes to socialized medicine. They don't look at that. They don't look at the preventative healthcare issues that Obama is trying to implement. They're not looking at that. They don't care about women's. They're not looking about women's health rights or women's reproductive rights. They're not looking at that issue. They don't give a shit. It's against their moral. It's against their morality, I should say, or I should say their biblical morality that they believe in, and that's what it boils down to, man. You still have this fight in the government, and it's going to be even more. It's going to be more extreme on certain issues. Now, I'm not saying in general, but I'm just saying on certain issues, it's going to be more extreme.
The moral aspect in the biblical end of that, they're going to be hard pressed to make that call, especially if they go New Testament and they start trying to use Jesus, because he said, take care of the sick, take care of the infirmed, which we don't do in this country at all.
Well,
they're throwing the wolves.
They're just hypocrites, but whatever.
Exactly. But, you know, on the other end of it, if you want to go down the socialist path, okay, let's talk about socialism. Let's talk about what exactly happens in this country and how many times you use a quote unquote government benefit every day. I mean, you get up in the morning. What's the first thing that? What's the first thing you do? Well, a lot of people brush their teeth, you know, take their medicine, have breakfast. That act alone right there has at least 5 different government regulatory agencies protecting your ass, from the EPA and the Clean Water, from the FDA and the Food and Drug Administration, making sure that the food that you put in your body is not corrupt, is the all of the medicines that you put in your body, make sure that they're not just bullshit and they actually do something, but on the other hand, they won't kill you when you put them in your body. Then you get out and you drive. Who the hell do you think takes care of the roads? Your house doesn't burn down while you're gone. Who takes care of that? That's all socialist freaking programs. If you want to get to a specific and a very hard-nosed definition of the word. But they never have a problem with any of that crap. No. We'll forget about all that quote unquote socialism. But when we have to take care of our own people, when we have to do what's right and make sure everyone in this country is covered and can actually go to the doctor and not freaking bankrupt their entire family because they happen to be unlucky enough to contract some disease. Oh no, hell no, we're not gonna do that. Tough shit. You're gonna you'll be bankrupt in a year. Too damn bad. It's just, this is one of my biggest buttons right now. I cannot stand the way the Republicans are handling this issue at all. It drives me crazy.
Yep, it's what happens when you have sore losers. That's what it boils down to. Seriously, I don't care what anybody says. They're just fucking sore losers. Plain and simple. You know what I mean?
Hey, look, It looks like we got somebody here that's saying pray. Well, why don't you come on and let's pray and see how well that works.
No, it's somebody I don't want on the freaking show.
Oh, no. We are going to invite anyone that would like to come on, man. That's part of the new Skeptic Fence. We will shy away from no one, even people who have, until they
negation. We will talk to later. There's 2 people I don't want on the show. They're not coming on the show. Until they demonstrate they cannot be trusted on the show, I say we leave it wide open to anybody. No, absolutely not. It's not happening. We're waiting for David Fitzgerald to log back in. I'm gonna call him up again and see what happens. See if his see if his mic works. I don't even know. So I got nothing really else to say negation on this topic. It just really pisses me off. And we go to the history of government shutdown. I don't know if you want to go over that real quick, if you have the stats for that. If not, we just move on and include it in our description box on the video.
Well, I mean,
because we've already been like 15, 20 minutes on this topic, so go ahead.
No, I mean, like I said, I can talk all night on this topic alone. So if you want to hit anything else, that's fine. If not, I've got no problem moving on. Especially, like you said, we're only 25 minutes into the show. So yeah, go right ahead.
3 more topics. So all right, let's get into this next topic. It's anti-gay hate crimes plague Brooklyn, man beaten. This is a good one. I'm sure we're gonna get in this one. So here we go.
Brooklyn is dealing with a bunch of hate crimes, especially against the LGBT community and specifically against transgendered individuals. But David Jimenez is actually straight, and he was a victim of an anti-gay hate crime. Now, he says that he had walked some friends over to a cab, and then he and his dog were walking back to his apartment in Brooklyn, and while he was doing that, all of a sudden someone started screaming at him. So David Jimenez tells the police that someone started screaming, "Hey, you faggot." I turned around and gave him a look like, what the hell? And then next thing I know, the guy starts punching me in the face. So he got beaten up really, really badly. Like, his entire face was just completely bruised. I mean, look at that. It's terrible that he had to go through something like that. And again, he's not gay. He's totally straight. We don't know why this guy attacked him or why he thought this David Jimenez was gay. But what the cops told me, and this is what he told to the press, what the cops told me was that night when I was in the ambulance, that guy was at a funeral and he was very upset. I'm sorry for him, but that is no reason to attack someone like this.
See, that's amazing to me. He must be such a good guy. Like, I wouldn't care what he was at and why he was upset. His motivations would be entirely irrelevant to me. I'd be thinking about vengeance the whole time. This guy's such a good guy that he's like, oh, I feel bad about the funeral and stuff, but he shouldn't have rearranged my face. Of course, he shouldn't have done that.
His nose was broken in 4 places.
Oh, man.
That's how badly he got beaten up. And by the way, I don't know what's happening with New York City, but right now there is, like I said, a huge increase in anti-gay hate crimes. In fact, it's an expected 70% increase in anti-gay violence.
So that's crazy. A gay couple was attacked in Chelsea, of all places, which is obviously very gay-friendly if you know anything about New York. And they got attacked coming back from a movie. A couple got attacked outside of Madison Square Garden coming out of a Knicks game. There was a popular gay bar, Pieces. Somebody got assaulted outside of that. And then there was anti-gay police brutality in Brooklyn at one point. So you're right. I don't know why this is happening at this time in New York City, of all places. But it's a disturbing trend, obviously. And look, we don't know for a fact that this is a hate crime because the guy could have been yelling that as just general insults, right? But it doesn't look good, and the guy's disturbed either way and should serve a long time.
So let me jump in with that. I mean, does it even matter if it's a hate crime or not? The guy assaulted him and beat him up. You know, like, I don't really understand why it's important to make that distinction. You probably get tougher, sentences as a result of it being a hate crime.
Yeah, look, I have mixed views on hate crime, and I get a lot of, ironically, or I don't know if it's ironic or appropriate, I get a lot of hate for this, but I'm not a big believer in hate crimes. Not to say that they don't happen, they definitely happen. And in fact, this is an excellent case of, like, people are like, oh, that doesn't happen anymore. Bullshit, it doesn't happen. It totally happens. But I believe that if you rearrange somebody's face like this and do massive assault, you should get a really long sentence for doing that, right? And I think when you add extra time on top for what you said during the assault, then it becomes a bit of a First Amendment issue. And I know people say, oh, that's theoretical. And a very good argument can be made that there's a lot of extenuating circumstances and mitigating circumstances in judging different crimes and in sentencing. So this is an aggravating circumstance. It's a very good argument. On the other hand, I really don't believe it in other contexts either. So for example, when they do the argument of something along the lines of, oh, I came into the house and my wife was having an affair, so in a fit of rage, I killed him, right? I killed the guy and I killed my wife, right? Well, they say, that's a different category, so you're going to get less time for murder. I think that's bullshit.
I think that's bullshit as well. You murdered a guy. You have to control yourself regardless of what your wife is doing.
Oh, but she was having sex. I don't give a shit what she was doing. You don't have the right to execute them. So, but in the law, that's a mitigating circumstance. I don't think that's mitigating at all. It's in fact a totally different crime than just than murder, right? And so to me, your motivations, whether it's a hate crime or other kinds, is irrelevant. the not irrelevant. That's too harsh. Like if you didn't mean it and it was out of negligence, then I think it is relevant, right? But if you meant it, I don't give a shit what you meant it for. I'm gonna look. We're liberals in the sense that we don't believe in the death penalty, and we think that you should, do some, like there's no need in gratuitous punishment or the solitary confinement and all that nonsense. But I think you and I both think that you should get really harsh sentences
Definitely.
for these actual assaults, for these violent acts, etc.
Yeah, that guy is dangerous. If you can't control your rage like that or your emotions like that, and then you go around beating up innocent individuals, then yes, you definitely deserve a really strict sentence and some real mental health help, because you can't control yourself, and that's really scary.
So there you have it. We got David, I think. Dave, are you here now?
I hope so. Can you hear me now?
Awesome sauce.
Oh, for fuck's sake. What a nightmare to hear you come. And Dave's here. I'm talking. Nothing's happened.
I'm like, oh, it's going to be a nice, smooth show, and I'm getting like a little stressed that you can't talk. I'm like, oh, here we go on the negation. Like, okay. I'm like, I'm getting a little stressed. I'm like, but we're all right. So I'm like, oh, good. You're back. You're here. All right, good. Beautiful. But not to sway off the topic, negation, you want to open this up and say what you had to say? Why do the screen caps, God?
Yeah, go ahead. My opinion's basically, if you look back in history, like when Jim Crow passed, and then when, in the late 60s after the Civil Rights Act went into effect, you kind of saw the same things, especially in the South. To me, it's almost like the death throes of the bigots. Once they get these laws passed that start allowing people to live like they do, the special people, they can't handle it because they do feel that they are special. So instead of doing it the right way and trying to get the laws rescinded, or actually growing up to the point where they can live in a society that cares about everyone, they're going to go out and become vigilantes and pick on defenseless people in packs because they're such flippin' little cowards. And I didn't get a chance to research it, but I'd really like to see if any of this really took place when the women's right movement was going on as well. I think it would be interesting to see if there was an increase in domestic violence against spouses and things like that when those laws were passed, because it definitely happened when we rescinded segregation and everything else.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think it's just par for course. It's just
this is a good. Well, I understand what you're saying, and I agree for the most part. But where do you think this hate is coming from, man? I'm like, all of a sudden, where do you think this hate, or is there a place this hate is coming from all of a sudden towards gays? 70% increase.
I think it's been there the whole time. I think the difference is that there weren't any really laws out there to mandate that you treated the homosexual community in the same way that you do everyone else. And now that that's starting to come out, I think that these people that don't agree with that are frustrated and small-minded. To quote as Isaac Asimov, violence is the last refuge of the incompetent. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. These people cannot do anything else. They've had this all along, and at least a year, 2 years, 5 years ago, they could get some solace in the fact that, well, they're not the same. We don't treat them the same. Now that we do, they're losing their flipping minds. So.
And they had a biblical mandate that's telling them it was okay to do it too.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah, correct. Because that's what I really want to get into and ask both you guys the question is: do you think religion has anything to do with hatred towards gays? Kids being indoctrinated in such a religion, knowing that being a gay is an abomination. And they shall surely be put to death. And I think it's Deuteronomy 20:13. I think it is.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you. Did you say did it have anything to do with it, or did it have every fucking thing to do with it from the get-go?
Oh, well, okay. Okay, yeah, no, I understand, because the reason why I want to bring this up is that, recently in New Jersey, where I live, which is right next to, New York, where a lot of people commute back and forth into the city, the Superior Court Judge, Mary Jacobson, ruled on September 27th that gay marriage must be allowed in the state of New Jersey, in light of the U.S. Supreme Court June ruling. So, and, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is totally against gay marriage, and he said, I'll let the voters decide. And now since this, this judge, Supreme Court judge, trumped them basically saying, well, guess what? In October, it's going to be legalized. So gay couples are going to be able to get married. Now, is this maybe a retaliation from people that maybe grew up in such a family where, they're just so intolerant towards gays that they could just feel like they could just go out, see somebody that they think is gay and just be so mad that a state would accept that, or again, it's against their, I guess, biblical principles that they get so pissed off that they can't believe that the government would do that to them, that they would just go over and just beat somebody. Yeah, of course. I think so. No doubt.
And I think that's the scary thing, is that this is the government saying your religion is wrong on this issue. And that's
the slap in the face.
That are bigger than just gays.
But that's happened many times in the past, and that what's amazing is every time the government does supersede one of God's laws, some of these people lose their mind. The rest of society moves forward, and we do have a better place to live.
Absolutely. And a lot of Christians now are already going over to the other side. They're already separating themselves out. It's a split right down the middle.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate. No, really not devil's advocate, but is there any other source of where this hatred is coming from, or no? I don't know. I'm just going to propose that question to you guys real quick. Is there?
Well, I think bigotry, I don't think you can... Bigotry's multifaceted from everyone.
Yeah.
You can't pin it down just to religion. It's going to come from upbringing. It's going to come from fear.
Personal experiences also.
Technology.
Yeah, I mean, there's a group of individuals out there that are gay and are scared to death of it, and will fight tooth and nail against it because for some reason they've been brought up that it's wrong and they're scared. So instead of just admitting it or getting along, they're going to go out and act out in, a hugely violent manner just because it proves they're not gay.
Exactly. Did you guys hear about that study? I think it was from the University of Michigan a couple years back, where they took two groups of men and separated them out from the most homophobic to the less homophobic, and then showed them porn. Gay porn.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, it was astounding. I mean, just across the board, the highest level of homophobia were the most aroused by the gay porn.
Most aroused by. Okay, sorry.
Now, what it boiled down to is Live Life is that if you went in and on your survey you were outraged, or you were when you were asked the question, you would be vehemently against homosexuality. In fact, even to the point of violence. Then when shown gay porn, those individuals were the most aroused across the study. It was amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was no question about it.
Yeah.
Well, we can take that and look at the pedophile priest too. So
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to cite that the most recent numbers is that students in college now are almost divided in perfect thirds on religious, not religious, and spiritual but not religious, whatever that means.
Okay, and then I'll show the graph then, and you keep on talking if you want.
David, on that topic, I heard a statistic somewhere which seemed really high to me, but somewhat believable, is that from the students that went in that self-identify as religious, 75% came out as either atheist or non-religious. Have you heard anything on that?
Well, that seems really high to me, but
I know, me too.
There definitely is a huge major portion of those who call themselves religious who aren't buying it, who are just going through the motions.
Yeah.
I couldn't give a hard number of that, but we were talking about that just this weekend.
Yeah, I heard that, I believe it was 3 weeks ago on some show, and I tried to find a study or anything to back that up, and I couldn't find it because, like you said, that seemed very, very high.
That seems a little ambitious. A little optimistic.
Oh, yep.
But guys, again, this is our comeback show, Skeptic Fence Show, and our guest tonight is David Fitzgerald. If you don't know who David Fitzgerald is, he is the author of the new book, The Mormons, which is actually the complete heretic's guide to Western religion. Now, David, we're going to get...
probably better known for Nailed, guys, and if you don't have both these books, you really are behind the power curve here. You need to get these books. I'm telling you.
Correct, and we're giving this book away tonight. There will be one lucky winner. And how do you win that? Pretty easy. you're going to go to our website, skepticfence.com, upper right-hand corner is forums. Click on forums. You need to register now on the forums in order to win this book. And what you got to do is we're going to propose a question to you guys, okay, personal to David. David's going to propose the question. You got to answer that question. You got to go to the forums. You got to answer that question on the forums. The first person on the forums that posts the correct answer wins the book. And then I will contact you, or you will contact me on the Skeptic Fence Facebook site, or through the Live Life 8072 YouTube channel. That's fine. You guys know where it is, and I'll send the book to you. It's that easy. It's really easy. So go there right now and register, so you have a fair chance of winning the book, I should say. I don't want to propose a question, you know it, and you got to register. Why somebody else might be, typing in the answer, and then you lose. So
or Google searching it.
So yeah. So it's that's how you win the book tonight, and we're gonna go over the segment, Skeptic of the Week with David Fitzgerald here in a little bit. But right now we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to get into our next topic, which is going to be our new segment we're going to bring up, and also how the internet is destroying Mormonism. So we're going to go into that topic. So guys, hang in there. We're going to play a song, and we're going to take a little break. So do we got to do? We'll be right back. Guys, thanks for checking out the show, and I got to give a couple people some mod privileges here. Atheism TV, what's up? But guys, thanks. This is our comeback show, and our guest tonight is actually a friend of the show, David Fitzgerald, and we're going to be giving away his book tonight. So for all the new people that just showed up, we're giving this book away. How do you win it? We're going to ask you a question, or at least David's going to ask you a question, and you're going to go to our forums. So make sure you register. Hopefully you did that on the break, and then you get to answer the question. If you answer the question correctly, you win this book, and I'll send it to you. And it's actually signed by Dave Fitzgerald also. Awesome. So we got one more topic and one little topic to talk about negation, and we're going to go into Skeptic of the Week with Dave Fitzgerald. We've got a few questions to ask him. And then towards the end of the show, we're going to have our live call-in segment. We're going to have a couple people call in live. Guys, if you want to call in live, you need to contact me on LiveLife8072 on Skype. So send a contact request to LiveLife8072. I will add you, and we'll bring you on the live segment. All right, so that's all I got to say. Negation. Anything to say before we get into the next video?
Just in case, guys, do me a favor. Private message me on Vaughn TV. Just click on my name and type whatever question you want in case we get a backlog, and then that way we can try to get to everybody. And if we can't, hate to put it this way, but we'll try to pick the best questions. So.
Correct, correct, and we're still out of the loop, guys. Negation is our first time coming back to the Skeptic Fence, and we had this down pat. Like it was the norm for us to come in, do this, do that, and we're a little rusty tonight. So hang in there, right? We're a little rusty tonight, but we'll get back into the swing of things very soon.
Just like riding a bike, you're doing great.
Exactly, like you said. It's like, and we're all like, you know what? Listen, it's going all right so far, but we need some beer. And I hate to say this, maybe I'll edit this out, but look at the size of this thing. This is for my homies out there. Look at the size of this thing, Corona. It's my first beer. I just popped it tonight, so I'm going to enjoy myself for the rest of the night. So it's bad, man. Skeptics coming along, hanging out, have a drink or two, and that's it, man. Have a good time. Talk about a couple topics, man. Negation, let's talk about our new segment. Okay. Guys, I'm going to play a video real quick right here. So listen to this video, watch it, and me and Negation have something to say after this. It's a new segment we want to go with. Okay, so here we go.
What is a skeptic?
What is a skeptic?
That's a mighty fine question right there. What is a skeptic?
Skepticism has a long historical tradition dating back to the ancient Greeks. Like when the philosopher Socrates observed,
"All I know is that I know nothing." What happened to the Parthenon?
Of course, that kind of know-nothing skepticism is just silly. If you were skeptical about everything, you'd have to be skeptical about your own skepticism.
Is it just me, or has he not really said anything yet?
Modern skepticism is embodied in the scientific method. It's about gathering data and testing claims made about natural phenomena.
That's phenomenal.
But a claim becomes a fact only when it is confirmed by investigation and observation to such an extent that reason demands our temporary agreement.
Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. We test, observe, and confirm claims, then they become facts, and we're done. That's easy. I can do that.
Well, not so fast. All facts in science are provisional. That means they're subject to challenge, and ultimately, even to change.
Oh boy, here we go.
That means skepticism is a method, leading to provisional conclusions.
Oh, I am getting such a headache.
But some claims, such as water dowsing, ESP, and creationism, have been tested and failed those tests so completely, so many times, that we can provisionally conclude they're not true.
Sounds to me like you're just a big fat claim denier.
No. We do need to test and investigate claims, but proper skepticism begins with a mind open to the possibility that the claim could be true. We just need to see the compelling evidence that the claim is true before we believe it.
Okay, that actually sounds fairly reasonable.
And when claims have been tested and the results are inconclusive, we withhold judgment and continue to formulate hypotheses and theories until we gather the evidence needed to reach a provisional conclusion.
Okay. I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to sound all reasonable so that people don't think you're a regular old cynic. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Sherman. I am onto you, and that is so cynical.
We really aren't just a bunch of grumpy old curmudgeons who are unwilling to accept any new claim that challenges the status quo.
Curmudgeon, hold on there, fella. I need to hop into my horse and buggy and head out to my temperance meeting. But does Grover Cleveland know you've stolen his vocabulary?
Skepticism is simply a provisional approach to claims. It's the application of the methods of science and of reason to any and all ideas. No sacred cows allowed.
Oh boy, my Hindu friends are not going to like that.
The key to skepticism is to continually and vigorously apply the methods of science in order to navigate between know-nothing skepticism and believe-everything credulity.
Credulity.
I love this part.
Credulity.
That just means being too eager to believe everything anyone says.
Eager. Eager. E-A-G-E-R, is that?
Eager just means wanting to do or have something very much.
I don't believe you, nor am I eager to do so.
Ultimately, a good skeptic tries to follow the efforts of the philosopher Baruch Spinoza, who wrote,
I have made a ceaseless effort not to ridicule, not to bewail, not to scorn human actions, but to understand them. Wait. I love to ridicule, bewail, and scorn human actions.
Then you might be a satirist.
That's great.
Satirist.
And by the way, Spinoza, he was Dutch.
Yeah, I know, but I can't do a Dutch accent.
Trust me, you can't do a British accent either.
Hurtful.
Dude, how funny is that? That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But real quick, I'll get in this, and Negation go after me, and we'll get David's opinion on this also. What we're trying to do, guys, here, we're trying to create some kind of new segment here, or a new segment for the show, I should say, is basically, it's going to be like a skeptic's viewpoint on a situation that is actually comedic, like somebody making some kind of valid statement or trying to make a valid statement that is just basically insane. It's an insane claim that we're just going to rip apart, but we're going to do it in a comedic type of view, or viewpoint, I should say. That's basically what we want to do. But what we're trying to bring to your attention is we want you guys to create the name of this new segment. So we already have it on our forums. So if you go to our forums again, if you go to let me see where it's linked at again. Give me a second here, Negation. If you want to go, let me find the link real quick because I did not write it down. So go ahead.
Yeah, basically, guys, that's what it is. I mean, we want to come on here and have as much fun as we possibly can. Correct. At the same time, we don't want to waste your time and you show up and basically all we're doing is cracking jokes all night. I mean, there's a place for that, but I think you guys are coming here to see, what we found about whatever topics we're going to talk about. So the main thing is we want to have at least one segment each show that's lighthearted, fun. We have a good time with it. And again, we want your input. Not only do we want you to tell us what you want us to, try to, lack of a better term, ridicule with humor, but we want you guys to name it.
Correct.
We come up with a little tagline, little short 2 or 3 word intro to it, and it'll come up every week, and you guys can vote on what you want us to do the next week. So.
Yeah, exactly. And we want you guys to name the segment, and it's underneath, well, if you go to our forums, it's underneath the second tab, viewer feedback, ideas. And if you go to ideas, you're going to see the subject, our new skeptical but comedic segment name. And if you guys go to that, check it out. And come on, we already have 1 reply on it and 6 views. So I think that's amazing. So that's really good. So at least people are checking it out and coming up with their own ideas. So you guys are going to name that. So go ahead, check it out, and give us your, what do you think what should it be called? What should it be called? So we're going to ask you guys that. So,
Talladega Tom says the Cooter report.
I know.
That's
That's why
right
I was.
there.
That's why I was like, I was just looking at that, and I couldn't get my verbiage. I couldn't get the verbiage out, so I'm like, oh, fuck. So we got one more topic, and then we're going to go into the Skeptic of the Week with David Fitzgerald, and we have a lot of questions actually for David, so it's going to be fun. So let's get into this. Here we go.
Will the internet kill the Mormon faith? We're going to discuss here, and we're going to use a case study, actually. Hans Mattsson. Now, he is from, I believe, Sweden, actually. Yep. He is a Mormon, very high-placed in his church, and over time, over the last couple of years, around 2010, some of the other Mormons that he knew started coming to him with questions they had about the faith, about the history of the Mormon faith, and they started to question things, and originally he brushed it off, but eventually he found that once he started doing his own research, it was very difficult to brush off some of the things he was seeing. Here's a quote from him. He says, "I felt like I had an earthquake under my feet. Everything I'd been taught, everything I'd been proud to preach about and witness about, just crumbled under my feet. It was such a terrible psychological and nearly physical disturbance." Now, we have a list of some of the things that he noticed during his research into the history of the Mormon faith that bothered him. We'll get to those eventually. But it is an interesting idea that his internet research is what led him to question these things, because he couldn't get the information even from his church, even though he was relatively highly placed. And so maybe this will have a long-term impact on religion.
I was really taken aback by this guy's last name a little bit. It's very similar, but you know the interesting thing is that I actually come from a long line of Mormons. My family is not Mormon, but my grandfather was raised Mormon, and his father before that were Mormon. And I grew up in Gilbert, Arizona, which is basically the Salt Lake City of Arizona. There were many, many Mormon families in my area, but my grandfather basically nipped it in the bud for my family when he married my grandmother in the 1930s, who was Baptist. So he dropped his religion without ever having access to the internet. I feel like it's been happening forever. It's way easier to find this information, obviously, with the internet, but it's not like it hasn't been kind of falling apart, I feel like.
Well, I hear you on that, but oftentimes it would happen because you fell in love with somebody and they were outside the church, and then so that led to a fissure because you're not supposed to do that, etc. But this story is interesting on a couple of grounds. One, he's an emeritus area authority. That's what they call him within the Mormon Church, which the New York Times explains is almost like a cardinal in the Catholic Church. Yeah. So it's a very significant high-level Mormon that's basically questioning the faith here. So that's why it's a little bit more interesting story. Second of all, it's despite the fact that he was that high level, he didn't know all these things, that the church had whitewashed it so thoroughly that they'd only given him the positive stuff. They hadn't given him the quacky stuff. They hadn't shown him what actually happened with Joseph Smith. Yeah. So that even though he got this high up in the church, he had no idea until he went online and he's like, damn. Yeah. Imagine what would happen to him if he watched South Park.
Oh God,
his head would explode.
Dumb. So do you want to go over some of the things
Absolutely.
that he had a question? Okay, so he eventually did the research and he found out some of these things. He says, well, this is the results. Why does the church always portray Joseph Smith translating the Book of Mormon from golden plates when witnesses described him looking down into a hat at a peepstone, a rock that he believed helped him find buried treasure? So some of the other things he was wondering about, why were black men excluded from the priesthood from the mid-1800s until 1978, until recently? Is it true that Smith took dozens of wives, some as young as 14, and some already wed to other Mormon leaders, to the great pain of his first wife, Emma? So yeah, that's gotta hurt, especially if you're one of those Mormon leaders now. And finally, why did Smith claim that the Book of Abraham, a core scripture, was a translation of ancient writings from the Hebrew patriarch Abraham, when Egyptologists now identify the papyrus that Smith used in the translation as a common funerary scroll that has nothing to do with Abraham? Well, former Mormon, explain yourself.
Well, I think that Mormonism is such a new religion, and other religions are not feeling it as hard because they've been around for 2,000 years and they've had time to like fill in the gaps and maybe like brush some things under the rugs and like figure it out. But Mormonism's so new and there's so many like plot holes to this story that I think that the internet and just having access to information, a simple Google search will help you figure out that this is kind of nuts.
No, they need Thomas Aquinas basically.
I think Mickey's exactly right, because So in like when stuff happened 2,000 years ago, you're like, well, I mean, nobody knows, right? I mean, did Jesus do that? Did he do this? And and so some of the Gospels even disagree, but you can understand it was like 2,000 years ago. I don't know, right? Yeah. Even though it's supposed to be the inerrant Word of God. But this happened during recorded history, not that long ago. Yeah. So we know he's like, and when you find out, oh, that scroll he was looking at was just like somebody's like, hey, Bob Smith died the other day. And you're like, wait a minute, so that means that guy's totally full of crap, right? Yeah. So that's pretty hard to get beyond. And then my favorite is that among all those different things that this Mr. Mattson fella was shell-shocked by, wasn't like, oh, we hated blacks, or any of that, or it turns out it's like, was all bullshit. The thing that really shook him was, oh my God, Joseph Smith had many wives? Ooh, the wrong kind of sex. That'll hurt. And he said he was just floored by that. But how could you not know the entire Mormon church was based on polygamy from the beginning? But they whitewashed it so effectively that even one of the leaders in Europe is like, what? Polygamy? Mormonism? I had no idea. And finally, that's my favorite part of the whole Mormonism story. Joseph Smith was not a polygamist all along. He would every once in a while have a revelation that was enormously beneficial to himself, as all the prophets did. I mean, you want to talk about the Prophet Muhammad? Every time he got in a little bit of trouble, oh, wait, I'm getting a transmission from Allah. Yeah, he says I'm totally right again, and I'll take your wife. Okay, and that's exactly what Joseph Smith did. And you know who's the one person who never believed that part of it and began to question the whole thing? His wife, Emma. You know the first transmission he got from Mormoni or whoever he is?
Moroni.
Okay, anyway. He's like, oh, it turns out God, he wants me to have sex with the maid. Literally. The first person he took on as a second wife was their maid. Yeah. And Emma, his wife, was like, oh, come on, dude. I was fine with the rest of it, but you're going to fuck the maid? Yeah. That's what you're going to do?
And then God was like, if you want to join in, that's cool too.
That's a good one.
That is an awesome clip, and there's so much to start with just there.
There is.
I'll tell you, the maid story, it's even worse than what they're saying.
Really?
It's even worse than that.
One thing I want to say real quick is I find it pretty funny that they had this title, Mormonism or Mormon Skepticism. Okay, what's that?
It seems like an oxymoron, doesn't it?
I know, really, right? It's like, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Not as bad as Mormon archaeology, though.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, no. To be honest with you, I'm like, how I look at it is real quick is like sort of on this topic is like I think, I should say I know is religion is generational for the most part. It's like kids are more involved with technology. They're more involved with the internet. They can research certain claims, especially when it comes to religious beliefs. They can research it and they become more, I should say, skeptical towards their beliefs and look at what we know. You know what I mean? They investigate the claims and they say, you know what? They come to the terms where this is bullshit. And that's why you see the religious demographic when it comes to the youth, it's a very high percentage. It's like 70%, I think, in the United States from 18 to 29, I think it is. It's like 70%. It's amazing. And it's just, I think when it comes down to the internet, when they say, well, the internet versus, the Mormon faith or Mormonism, I think it's all religion. I don't think you just can stop at the Mormons. I think it's just religion in general.
Exactly. That's actually a great segue because David addresses this in his book. He's basically saying that there's two groups now. You've got, and I don't know if this is your term or not, David, but the Internet Mormons and then the Chapel Mormons. Do you mind going into that a little bit? Because I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's not actually my term. That was a guy online whose name escapes me at the moment. But he did a study on Mormonism and showing how that it's involuntarily going through this schism where it's splitting in half and it doesn't even realize it's happening. And what's happening is you've got this bunch of Mormons. They all go to the same church. They go to this, they see each other. They don't think they're any different. But one of them will interact online with the outside world through the internet and act as an apologist for the Mormon church. While the other one is happy to just believe whatever their bishop says. If they said it, they believe it, that settles it. But there's this whole intellectual tradition, quote unquote intellectual, where they at least want to give lip service to the idea that these ideas make sense. And so they actually engage in arguments with non-believers. And it's very interesting to see what two different directions this is taking Mormonism. And you made the great point. It's not just Mormonism. Same thing's happening in Catholicism. Same thing's happening in Islam. The same thing's happening probably in every single religion on the planet right now.
Yeah, in fact, I think that if you look at bringing up Catholicism.
Catholicism. There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of, at least what I was drawing parallels when I was
real
reading.
Quick before you go there, you just had to live life disease there. Sorry, go ahead.
What seemed to draw parallels for me there was how the Pope is coming out, being semi progressive, and some of the church leaders seem to be doing the same thing, at least, the internet side.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just thought that was kind of interesting too.
It's going to be really fascinating to see what happens in the Vatican over the next couple of years, because it is such a clusterfuck.
It's amazing how more liberal they're going. It's just amazing.
And the thing that's really driving it is not even the doctrine. It's not even
it's not
the pedophile scandals.
Nope.
It's their fiscal misconduct is really ripping the Vatican apart.
It's
right
that, but I think it does have to go back to Ratzinger. Back in 2001 when he was hiding all these cases. Every case had
absolutely
had to go to his desk in 2001 until I guess current. And that hurt him. That hurt him tremendously,
sure did.
And that was a huge reason why he left. That's a huge reason why, dude. 600 years? Come on, man. Of course it is.
Here's the thing, though. I always assumed that the pedophile scandal was the biggest thing that was going to hit the Catholic Church, and that was why he had to leave. But actually,
I think it is.
I have a friend of mine who's an ex-priest in France who sent me an email like 3 months before the story broke that the Pope was retiring and saying, "Dave, don't tell anybody I told you this, but listen to this." And he just showed how, just point by point, the European financial authorities are saying the Vatican is in violation of 7 of the 12 basic core things that you must do as a financial institution. And there's all these factions inside the Vatican who are, fighting against each other because they're making tons of money. I mean, it sounds like a crazy, a Dan Brown novel. It should be a crazy Dan Brown novel.
Yeah, exactly.
There's all this financial infighting going on in the Vatican. And that's what got the Pope kicked out.
Well, the funny thing is,
because he was covering up boy fuckery for decades, but he's like the Al Capone of popes. He got it out because of tax evasion, basically.
But you know how much money they gave to families to cover up the priest, the pedophilia? Oh my God. 800 million, I think it's 800 million. I forget. Don't quote me on that. I'm be honest with you. It's hundreds of millions of dollars. Since '98, I think it is like hundreds of millions of dollars. And you go all the way to Milwaukee with a Dolan, Cardinal Dolan. You go all the way back to that. I know we're getting a little off topic, but yeah, you go all the way back to that. And there's a good video out there, which I told a lot of my subscribers about, is Mia Maxima Culpa. It's a great HBO documentary. Go watch it. And I actually researched and did some fact finding, and they were pretty accurate on those claims.
And you know who else is burying tons of money on things to make problems go away? The Mormons.
Absolutely.
The Mormons.
So, hey, you want to get into your book? I mean, I think I could talk all night, man. I did finish it. I really liked it. It is definitely something that everyone needs to have, especially for the door knockers. So
what I want to do what I really want to do real quick, negation, is I need a little break here, a couple minute break. It's 10 after 10. We still got like 50 minutes in the show. What we're going to do is take like a 2-minute break real quick. Then we're going to come back, do Skeptic of the Week, David Fitzgerald, and then we'll go with the questions, and then we'll talk about David's book, and then we'll tell people how to win his book. And then David will reveal the question to you guys to win this book right here. Okay? That's how you're going to do it.
Cool.
So go to the forums. Talladega Time, please post a link to the forums. Go register so you have equal opportunity to win this book. All right? So we're going to take a 2-minute break here, and we'll be right back. All right, everybody, we're back here on the Skeptic Fence Show. Welcome to Skeptic of the Week is David Fitzgerald. He's been here for the whole show so far. We had a little technical difficulty with David, but we're good now. So, how you doing, David?
Awesome. It's so great to see you back on the air. when you were playing the Mr. Deity clip there with Michael Shermer,
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that Mr. Deity, Keith Dalton, is an ex-Mormon as well. And
Is it really? I didn't know that.
He's in the book, actually. He has great things to say about it. He gave me a great blurb for the book.
No shit, I did not know that. I guess Negation's not back yet. I'm surprised he didn't call me yet. But can you patch David through your call on cell phone? No, that was earlier. So
That was way earlier.
But yeah, David, I got a couple questions real quick for you, if you don't mind.
Let's do it. Go for it.
Shit. How long did the new book take to write? The Mormons.
Oh man, it was such a nightmare to write. I hope my formatter's not listening, because it took about, let me guess, 2 years to write, because I just finished Nailed and then went straight to work on the Mormon book. And I was hoping to have it out by December of 2012. But then there was so many formatting nightmares that I won't go into. It put us like $1,000 over budget and 6 months behind. So it didn't come out until this May. But I'm glad that it's out now. The reception on it has been amazing. I think this is one book that Christians are going to love just as much as atheists, which I can't say about many of my books.
I know, and I've been a big supporter of it so far. So I'm like, I actually think I did make a video about it a month ago.
You sure did. I love that.
When we sent this, so yeah, it's over 500 views, I think, that video. So yeah, and there's a lot of nice comments. People are like, oh, where can I get? Oh yeah, and I put the links down below. So I don't know, maybe you got some people contacted you in the last couple months. I don't even know. But another question is, where's this series going? The Complete Heretic's Guide to Western Religion. What is next? What can we expect in the future? From David Fitzgerald in this series. What can we expect?
Awesome question. I've actually got 3 books in the pipeline already. I'm working on the next book 2 in the series. I'm not going to make it like a Religion of the Month club kind of thing, though I am going to be doing a book on the Jehovah's Witnesses down the line.
Oh, nice.
The next book I want to do is going to be called Jesus, Mything in Action. And it's
hey, everybody, don't steal that title. Okay?
Yeah.
We have evidence right here.
It already.
That's a good one.
It's a follow-up to Nailed, but it's going to approach the problem from the other side. This is going to take all the arguments I get from atheists who said, oh, yeah, I know Jesus wasn't the Son of God, but there really was a Jesus and blah, 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 and there's good evidence for him and all that. It's like, yeah, nothing could be further from the truth. And all the hypothetical Jesuses, real Jesuses that we get from secular scholars are just as hypothetical and just as shaky as any Jesus of faith that somebody tries to sell you. So that's what this book is going to be about, this next book. Then I want to do a atheist guide to the New Testament, basically. Just a nice, quick, dirty field guide that you can have with you for when anybody tries to tell you, well, as Paul tells us in 1 Timothy, blah, 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 blah. You can just do a quick look and say, well, did Paul even write that book? How do we know that he did or didn't? And spoiler alert, he didn't write it. And what kind of crazy crap is in that you're not going to get from some other, your average.
Exactly, yeah. Oh my God, that is so awesome. So I got one more question, and we have Negation, since you just hopped in here. We'll have Negation go after me with his questions.
Rock on.
And we'll be good to go. My last question is, and please do so, and when I listen back to this, I'll put the links down below. Where can people buy your books? Where can they buy your books, and where can they get the latest updates, from David Fitzgerald?
These are all such good questions.
I try.
You can get them on Amazon and from Barnes and Nobles. You can get them in e-format from either of those or from Smashwords. You can also, if you're really desperate to get a autographed signed one and you didn't win tonight, you can just contact me directly on Facebook, and I'm happy to sell you one directly for even cheaper than you can get it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Ah, here you go. You just heard it here, guys. See, you get a little bit cheaper from David direct on Facebook, and I will provide that link. Yeah, and
everybody wins on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the best way to find me probably, I do have a website that really is not quite there yet because I spend too much time writing books and not enough time on the website. I want to fix that down the line. But right now,
I'm in the same boat with you right there, so go ahead.
I was going to say, hunt me down on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm at the point where I have to stop accepting new friends, but you can sign up to be a follower. it'll still let you, and you can, and my privacy levels are set that anybody can talk to me, anybody can post on my wall. And I'm happy to hear from people.
Yeah, and you're pretty active on your Facebook, which is really cool. I enjoy some of your posts, and not some of your posts, all your posts I enjoy. I actually read them when I see them. You know, I'm not too active on Facebook. Maybe I'll check maybe for 5 minutes a night, if that, and just go and just check it out. And I see your posts. Actually, it's pretty good.
It's a time suck, though. I really have to curb my Facebook to get this book done.
Yeah, it's hard for me. Like, this week, I really want to get the website done, Skeptic Fence websites. I'm sorry to go into this tangent, but...
Oh, shoot.
You're there. You okay? Negation, we hear you. You all right?
Yeah, it's the freaking ad when you get back on the Vaughn.
Somebody shrank Negation of P into a tiny 2-inch person.
No, he sounds good. It's just he has some kind of feedback. I don't know what the feedback is.
No,
Jiminy Crickets.
There you go now.
You can't mute the commercials on Vaughn. So
gotcha. Well, go to our website. You got new commercials on our website. There you go. Commercial free is on our website, skepticfence.com, and you can just watch the show live in HD right there, and chat actually too. Guys, also real quick for the Skeptic Fence Show here, if you're on Vaughn Live TV channel, follow us down below. You get an email when we go live, or at least when we go live, you get an email. So follow us, click the follow button. Friend us, and we'll friend you. That's what it boils down to. And check the links down below this video when you're watching live.
It occurs to me, actually,
There's
that
a lot of
Skeptic Fence is also in the Mormon book.
Yeah. Let me hold on. That's a great point. Let me find that, because all you guys will love this, and big supporters or long-time supporters of the Skeptic Fence will like this. Negation, is it okay for me to show this? Are you okay with it or no?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Guys, check this out. David wrote this in his book, and you get this. If I can scoop it in there.
Page 316.
Fence. That's right. There it is. Skeptic Fence. How awesome is that? It's a shame Block TV is not valid anymore. They closed the channel down. But yeah, me and Negation are in the book, man. It's awesome. We're one of two podcast channels you actually put in there as thanks. That's awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's awesome. There's about 5 or 6, but yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just getting thank you in any book is amazing, and it's just like when I seen that, I didn't even know that was in there until I looked at it. Until Negation told me, I'm like, oh my god! I was like so happy. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I was like, I think we're making a little difference, maybe. Just a little.
You are.
So I'm like, that's pretty cool. But yeah, it makes me feel good. It's like at least.
Yeah. Well, you guys should
appreciate
be proud of this podcast, as this is an awesome podcast,
and we're happy to have it back. And it's gonna go. We're going to be doing merchandise, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to have so much fun with it, man. And we're a little rusty tonight, and we're going to get back in the loop of things like we used to.
Stop saying that.
I will always say that, because I think I am. I think I'm a little rusty tonight. So, Negation, what do you got to say? And I'm going to hand it over to you, Negation, because I know you got many questions to ask David. And we got maybe let's go in this 15 minutes. We could run over a little bit if David's okay with it, and then we'll have some, guest on. We'll have some call-ins. All right. So go ahead, Negation.
That sounds great.
It's all you, man.
Well, then I'm gonna have to cut my questions down, because man,
take your time, man. Go ahead.
I could talk all night about the book.
You talk a lot, so go ahead.
Well,
I'm just kidding. No, it's not a bad thing.
No, I really enjoyed the book, man. I like your writing style. I like how funny you are, and I mean it's easy read, and it's fun to go through. So
that's awesome to hear, because that's exactly what I was going for.
Right, you nailed it, because like I said, I loved it. I mean,
touche, you nailed it. But God,
exactly. There you go. It's 300 pages, but I mean, I don't know how much people out there read, but it's really not that long at all. I mean, 300 pages may sound intimidating to some people, but trust me, you can get through it in a week easy. I mean, it's a really good read, and it's something that'll keep your attention.
And there's lots of pretty pictures.
Absolutely. You've got lots of really good illustrations in there, and amazing information. In fact, I mean, during your research, what was the thing that you found that you didn't know? What was the most surprising part of that book?
There were a lot of them, including like the Mormon Reformation. But I think probably what surprised me the most was how little the real story of Mormonism's origins rather, trickled down to the rank and file in the church, and how many different versions there are of Joseph Smith's origin story. about how he got the Book of Mormon. There are so many different versions floating around that it's hard for me to keep track of them all, even when I was writing the book.
The thing that surprised me, and I mean, I'd love to hear your opinion on this. From what I could, what I gathered from the book, there's only one that is pinned in his hand, and that's not the story they go with. Isn't that correct?
Exactly. And people didn't know about it for years and years and years. So, in fact, so many of the biggest bombshells in this book came out into the light by total true blue believing Mormons who were history majors or studying, for their doctorate or whatever, went into church libraries and had, they had all the credentials to go in there, and accidentally uncovered stuff that the church had buried and forgot that they had buried. And it's laughable. It's just ridiculous how many things came out by accident that once it became public, it's like, oh yeah, we forgot to tell everybody that for 150 years, or
they
ever.
were kicking people out of the church for finding stuff.
Absolutely. There was a whole spate of historians in the 90s or 80s, I can't remember now, the September 7, who got kicked out for not doing anything wrong except uncovering truth about the Mormon Church, doing good history work. That's how these historians got kicked out.
And kind of expanding on that a little bit, before reading your book, I mean, what I guess I always felt was the strongest evidence against Mormonism was the archaeology. But yeah. I'm telling you, man, after reading your book, finding all of the plagiarism that went on in making the stories, everything from, I mean, a lot of these guys, you're going to have to read the book to see, but the Spalding manuscripts, the errors that they copied verbatim from the 1796 King James Version of the Bible, right. Sermon on the Mount. He even used the Quran a couple of times. And the one
Pilgrim's Progress, and
and the one that really was the tipping point for me was the Golden Pot. Tell everybody about, that's the one that I really found interesting, man.
Yeah, the Golden Pot was written by the same guy who wrote the short story that the opera The Nutcracker is based on, or the ballet rather, The Nutcracker is based on. He's this German folklorist. He wrote this story called The Golden Pot, and it has all these parallels to Joseph Smith's, like 4 of Joseph Smith's accounts of finding the plate, and only one of them is like the official account of him finding a plate. But they're all stories that he told, including that one that was found in his own handwriting. And it's just parallel after parallel of these two stories that they're basically like most of Mormonism, steampunk Scientology. They're just bizarre sci-fi stories from the 19th century. But it's just, once you start seeing all the parallels, it just gets ridiculous to think that these weren't, that he wasn't influenced by these things, that he wasn't taking the stories and changing it. His story of the prophet Abinadi, if that's how they pronounce his name, and the story from the Pilgrim's Progress, it's just word for word, basically, the exact same plot laid out. It's crazy. And that's the thing about, I mean, it's the same thing with Christianity, but you have to dig a lot harder because it's had 2,000 years to cover up its tracks. But Mormonism is fresh enough that all the smoking guns are still out there. And no matter which direction you start studying Mormonism, through its history, through the archaeology, through its theology, it comes up nuts. You only can go so far before it's like, okay, this is just crazy crackpot crap.
Well, the other thing that's interesting, at least to me, is that, I think you said in the book there's over 60,000 corrections that have been made since the original book.
And what's great is we still have the first editions of them, complete with spelling mistakes, complete with grammar mistakes, complete with little minor plot twists that got erased out because they were ridiculous, or and there's still mistakes that never did get edited out, where like a guy gets his head chopped off and then is still lives for another minute or two and struggling for breath.
Don't they call it the most correct book in the world or something like that?
Yes, and the first edition lists Joseph Smith as the author, not the translator. That's a Freudian slip there.
Wow.
That's hilarious, man.
It is hilarious.
Do you think, I mean, reading all of that, it seems like when you've got all these parallels between...
Negation, hold on a second. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Guys, real quick, I just posted another live video now. So, guys, we're going to be doing, if Negation and Dave Fitzgerald are up for it, we're going to be doing a little after-hours party on my personal channel after this, so you guys are more than welcome to come. We're going to have people like Cockpuss Prime there, Dragnot, if he wants to come, Talladega Time, if you guys want to come. We're going to do a little after-party after the Skeptic Fence Show on my personal on live TV. Not Skeptic Fence Show, but personal. So, Negation, sorry to hit you up there. So, just letting you know.
Kind of going back to that point, it just seems like, even you were in the book, you're even saying that, he was going through all of these different books of the time that he had access to. Right. I mean, what do you think, if anything, did he contribute to that book that was original? I mean,
gosh. Well, that's tough to say. I mean, he definitely wasn't illiterate. He was just semi-literate. So it's entirely possible that that big chunks of it are original. The problem is, and in fact, just hearing the eyewitnesses' accounts of him going through writer's block and like having to run outside and skip stones at the river until he could get his ideas together and then come back in the room and translate. And it just had pacing problems, and it's so obviously King James version fan fiction. Even Mark Twain was making fun of the fact that he would reuse the same phrases over and over again to give it this old-timey King James feel, and it came to pass and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And he said if you took out all those, it would the Book of Mormon would just be a pamphlet,
Yeah, I remember that passage. That was really good.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can keep on going, Dave. I was just going to say something. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, we're going to take like a 2-minute break here. It's 10:30 right now. We can come back, and Negation, you have a couple more questions, I think, right?
Yeah, I just got like 2 or 3. And
okay, what I really want to do when we come back is I want to give this book away. All right. When we come back, David will propose this question or ask this question to you guys, the viewers. Somebody's going to win this tonight. I know there's a lot. David, be honest with you, there's like 2 or 3 people I know that message me. I want to win that book. I want to win that book. I'm like, well, see if you can figure it out. Maybe see if you're the first person to answer the question. So, how you guys got to win this? How you guys win this? I should say is guys down below here, Vaughn TV, skepticfence.com. Go to that website, upper right hand corner, forums. Click that. And on the first link where it says introduction, click that first topic. It says win a Mormon book or win a book about Mormons. Click that. And whatever when Dave, I should say, asks his question, you just got to go there and just post your answer. And throughout the show for the next half an hour, I'm going to be checking to see who has the right answer. And we will let you know who won this. So, and we will send it to you.
And just a heads up, it's not going to be that tough. So, be ready to jump on that.
Exactly. So, and it's signed Later Days Saints by Dave Fitzgerald. It's signed by our guest tonight, author David Fitzgerald. So it's good. It's pretty awesome, guys. So it's free. What's the value of this right here? About what? I don't even know. And it's free.
It's really priceless.
It's really. You beat me to the punch. It's priceless, guys. Because it is. Yeah, the signature, of course, is priceless, but you get it here, man.
It's the most correct of all books, actually.
There you go.
We're just messing with you guys.
Actually, I know that's a lie because I've seen the formatting.
A lot more correct than the
than the source material, maybe.
One other thing, guys, I wanted to mention when y'all were talking about buying the book, it's actually, if you're lazy like me and like to do audio
I'm winning that book.
We should pimp out the audio book.
Available on iTunes. I actually saw it today. I looked to see if it was there. So it's there on iTunes, guys.
That's cool.
Yeah, they did a great job on the audio book.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I want to get it down. Now, did you read it personally or no?
No, I did the audiobook of Nailed. I read that one, but the Mormons was done by a team in Texas.
Cool. I got God Is Not Great by Christopher Hitchens. I love listening to him fucking.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
He's more brilliant drunk off his ass than I'll ever be sober.
Isn't it amazing? And he said he actually was drinking when he was doing the audiobook.
don't doubt it. For a
Oh,
second.
no, definitely was. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. So, yeah, when I recorded my audiobook, it's not great. Yeah, I was drunk. I'm like, awesome. I was like, you sound like it. He's like, but he speaks so clear, man. He's so coherent, dude. When he, like, even when he's drinking, he's so coherent, unlike me. But anyway.
That throat moistened.
All right, everybody, go grab a drink, go grab a beer, go take a piss, shit, whatever you want to do. Go kiss your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you want to do. We'll be back in 2 minutes. A couple more questions for David. And when we come back, he's going to propose the question. He's going to ask you guys a question, and you guys got to answer it to win this book. We're going to be doing that as soon as we get back. All right? So here we go. I don't care about the end of that song. But anyway, guys, we're back, and you know what that means. I just gave you guys the link, the forum link to win the book tonight. That's where your answers are going to go, okay? And right now, you guys better hurry up. You better get there. I just posted it 2 times. Go. David, what is the question?
The question is, when David Fitzgerald is not writing biblical history books, he's writing erotica books under this pen name. What is Dave Fitzgerald's erotica writing pen name?
There you go. So go about it. I will
Not
check
here, guys. Don't post it in the chat here. You got to post it on the Skeptic Fence forums.
Yeah, not here, guys. Don't post it here. Please don't do so. Okay? So, David, repeat the question, and this is the forums you're going to go to right now to post the answer. Don't post it here. David, one more time.
Here's the question. When I'm not writing biblical history, I'm writing erotica. What is the name that I write erotica under? Here's a hint. It's not David Fitzgerald.
Oh, that's great. But Negation, back to you. Let's do like another 10 minutes, and then we'll have a couple people call in. Guys, if you want to call in, guys, if you're on my Skype and I know who you are, please do me a favor. Hit me up in Skype if you want to come in and ask David Fitzgerald a couple questions. You're more welcome to do so. It's Live Life 8072. That's the contact request on Skype. Live Life 8072. That's the contact request. There it is right there. So if you have any questions for Dave Fitzgerald, come on in. We're going to be hosting an after party. I don't know if David has some time to show up for a little bit. We're going to probably have maybe Coctopus Prime on and a couple others. Dragnot, I don't know if you want to come in. Negation, maybe he'll swing by for the after party. It's going to be on my personal channel, Live Life 8072, on Vaughn Live TV, because I got so many subscribers over there, and I can bring them a lot more people, you know, there. So, guys, and by the way, I want to say this tonight. Great turnout so far tonight. We hit over 50 people tonight so far for our first for our comeback show. That doesn't even include, just by the way, I really promoted the website for people to go to the website and watch it. That doesn't even include the people that are watching it from the website, because that doesn't count, you know, the people that are watching from the website. So who knows? It could be another 40, 50 people watching it from the website. Who knows? It could be thousands. Who knows? But no, it's a great time, man. This video is going to last forever as soon as I upload it. So, Negation, let's get back to the questions, because I think you got a couple more left for David, and I'll set up the calls while you're doing that.
Yeah. All right, man.
Good.
Now, what I'm going to do is set up this last question, because, you know, I learned a lot of history out of this book that I don't think anybody, or I don't want to say anybody, but most Mormons don't know. And
for sure.
And what was, again, one of the things that was, go ahead.
I just want to cut in. I got a letter from a guy named Jim Whitfield, who was a Mormon for years and years and years, and left the church, wrote a 5-volume book on Mormonism. He said, Dave, I learned things from this book. I was like, wow, that was the biggest compliment I've gotten in the book so far.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that feeds right in, you know, what I was going to do is toward the end of your book on page 238, actually, you quote Boyd Packer, which for those of you who don't know, it's Apostle Packer. Sorry. But he's literally the number 2 guy in the church right now. And this is his view, his quote on truth. And what he says is, I have a hard time with historians because they idolize truth. The truth is not uplifting. It destroys it. I could tell most of the secretaries in the church office building,
I love this line.
that they are ugly and fat. That would be the truth. but
Thank
it would
goodness
hurt
you didn't
and
say that.
destroy them. Historians should only tell the part of the truth that is inspiring and uplifting. Now,
Dude, you gotta love that. You gotta love that. Not only the fact that he throws all his secretaries under the bus and then says, that he wasn't gonna do that, but yeah, talk about 1984 Orwellian doublethink. It's that whole chapter. I mean, that's not all he says. He has like a 4-point plan of what they should be doing and they shouldn't be doing.
Exactly.
And again, the September 6th, I called them the September 7 earlier, but it's the September 6th. They all got kicked out of the church, even though they are still to this day devout Mormons. They got kicked out for revealing secrets that the church wanted to get covered up. They got kicked out for telling the truth, for doing their job too well.
And what's amazing is what you don't get kicked out for, especially in Brigham Young's day.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
if you got to what I was trying to get at is, please, is in your tone, tell us about the Mountain Meadows Massacre.
Oh man,
it is amazing. So
yeah, it's astounding. Yeah, 1857, and ironically enough, it was on 9/11 of 1857. Long story short, there was a wagon train coming through Mormon territory at the wrong absolute time because the Mormons were gearing up for war with the United States, and so they disguised themselves as Paiute Indians. Some say they disagree on whether there were actually Paiute Indians with them or not. But what's not disagreed is that they surrounded this wagon train. Finally, once they put it under siege and realized that they weren't going to be coming out, they went in under a flag of truce, said, look, we're Mormons, we'll sort this out with the Indians, just come with us and give us your guns and we'll make sure you're safe and sound. And then they executed every single one of them, men, women, and children. The only ones they let live were about 8 children, or 17 children under the age of 8, I think it was. Whatever they thought was the age that they couldn't tell the people about what had happened. And when they were in doubt, they killed the kids if they were in doubt.
David, real quick, guys, we had 8 replies so far within like the last 5 minutes on this answer.
Did we get it
right? Yeah, I think somebody got it right. Is it Kilpatrick?
It is Kilpatrick.
All right. Well, guess what? We had 1, 2, 3, 4 people that got it right.
Holy cow.
The first person that got it right was, to be honest with you, and I got it at 2:40. Actually, I don't know. I guess that's server time. It's weird. But the first person that replied and got it right was, and he actually wanted to win this book. And you guys go check and confirm it. E Prime. Congratulations, E Prime. Good job, man. E Prime is the first one that got it right. He gets it, signed copy. I will send it to you, E Prime. Hit me up on Facebook, and if you're on our Facebook, it's Skeptic Fence on Facebook, and send me a private message with your either PO box or address, and I'll send it right out to you Monday morning, man. You'll have it by the end of the week or middle of the week. And we also got to give props to Super Droog. He got it right. Max got it right. And also, Personal VD got it right. So 4 of you guys got it right, man. That's awesome, man. And thanks, man. That's fun. I like that shit.
As far as I'm concerned, you're all winners. But in a more real, truer sense, only E Prime is the winner.
Okay, there we go. Now we're back live. Okay, guys.
And
no,
if
it's
you
not
didn't
me.
win the book, you can shoot me an email or IM on Facebook, and I'll be happy to sell one to you.
You know what the funny thing is? We got to go over this again. Because we were cut off line. Guys, by the way, the winner of the book now. Let's go back to 3 minutes ago.
Who was the winner of that book?
Was the winner of the book now? No, yes, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 replies to it. We have 4 people that got it right, but the first person that did get it right, which is the person that I know's been contacting me for a little while now that wanted to win this book, is he got it right. And by 1 minute he got it right, is E Prime. E Prime got it right. E Prime, congratulations.
Congrats, E-Prime.
The answer was Kilpatrick.
Kilpatrick.
And Super Drew got it right, Max got it right, and Personal VD got it right also. So congratulations, guys. And I like this. I like this little questionnaire. Go to forums. We can see it here live. check it out, man. You guys go check it out and see who answered, man. I'll post the forum again so you guys go see who got it right. So there it is. That's awesome. Thank you. I love the interaction. That's what we're going to do. That's the new thing we're doing here on Skeptic Fence is forum interaction. That we'll propose a question. You can win things, T-shirts, coffee mugs, and we'll give them out to you, man. So that's a new thing we're going to be going with. So David, what do you got to say about that to the person that won, E-Prime?
E-Prime, congrats. Everybody else, if you didn't get a chance to win it, just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to sell you a copy directly. And hey, if you guys haven't read Kill Kilpatrick books, read those books. Those are pretty fucking awesome too.
The funny thing is, I was going in the background of that. I thought it was probably last year when you were on the show, and I was just like, "This is cool" because I like erotica books, man. It's pretty awesome. So, yeah. So guys, if you like that kind of stuff, yeah, go check it out.
Sci-fi, fantasy.
Sci-fi, fantasy. Yeah,
it's all in there.
Yeah, Nald was great. See, Mazzy just said Nald was great. So he or she liked it Nald. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's a great book too.
So guys,
just to finish up on the story, David, from what I could tell on that massacre, wasn't it? Well, I'll let you. Who does it look like anyway? Actually ordered the hit, if you will, on all those people.
Yeah, there's just really no doubt. Well, okay. I'll qualify that as a good historian. There's serious concern that Brigham Young set up the stage so that it was inevitable that would happen. They tried to protect him by saying that, oh, well, as soon as they heard about the massacre, they actually sent special orders from Brigham Young to tell them, oh, no, don't kill these settlers. But this is such a catch-22 because since when do you have to send special orders to somebody to not kill innocent people? It's like they weren't thinking their official story. You can debate on whether he actually ordered the hit or they were acting alone, but what you can't deny is that the cover-up that lasted for 16 years after that was pure Brigham Young. No question about that at all.
No, and then the only thing I've got left, and well, I've got a lot left, but I'll cut it. Basically,
yeah, I got a caller lineup, so go ahead.
Okay. Now, the only other thing I really wanted to get at, that I really wanted to address, is right at the end of the book, you've got, on page 299, you start with how to handle what I would term as door knockers. Yeah. When the guys come in and you talk to them.
That's what I call my wife's titties. No, sorry, go.
Some great
sorry,
points
Aline, I'll edit that out.
Well, there's some great points there because there's some things that I didn't know at all, and I would have screwed up, and they would have left. If you want to summarize a couple of the most important points to dealing or talking with Mormons, feel free, because I was really impressed with that part of the book.
Yeah, well, I gotta tell you, I spoke to a lot of Mormons and ex-Mormons in the course of writing this book, and I have them to thank for big chunks of that their insights on how to talk to Mormons. And I think the number one thing to keep in mind is if Mormons are knocking on your door, don't be douches to them. You may be the person that plants the seed that gets them to become atheists. And you may be the only chance they get, because when they're on their mission, they don't get to read newspapers, watch TV, listen to the radio. They don't get any media import of any kind except from church sources and from the people they talk to. And most people, surprise, surprise, don't want to talk to Mormon missionaries. In fact, I make the point in the book that Mormon missionary work, they get exactly the target audience they're going for, and that is the missionaries themselves. When all the other Baptist kids and Catholic kids are in college experimenting with dope and gay sex and whatnot, Mormon kids are mowing the lawns and babysitting to scrape up enough money so that they can afford to pay their own way for 2 years and go through that miserable missionary experience. They have to pay for that all out of their own pocket. It's genius. It's pure genius. It just gets those kids, instead of going out into the real world and experimenting with sin, they are doubling down on their own religion. So that's that. If you know that and nothing else, you're better than anybody who knows everything else and doesn't know that. Be nice to them. Listen to them. Ask them questions. Don't do it with a drink in your hand. Don't do it with a cigarette in your mouth. Try not to cuss around them. And they are trained not to argue. So if you can just keep it civil and just maybe ask questions and express your doubts, that will go so much further than trying to lock them in some intellectual, chokehold.
Yeah, really.
Absolutely.
I took away, it seems like, really try to stay as much to the Socratic method as you possibly can. Just ask questions. No, don't tell them they're wrong. Don't tell them what about this.
Yeah, because they're
Become a skeptic.
Specifically, do not argue with them. So that'll just shut them up right away.
Yeah, just become a skeptic. Free thinker. Yeah. Question everything. Critical thinker.
Take every opportunity you can to talk to them, because
that's what it boils down to. It's just amazing, these cults, and I will call them cults when you're in such a extremist view on certain issues. Yeah, they're fucking cults. It doesn't matter how small or large. It's still.
Well, I like the guy who said a cult is a religion that has no political power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. It does boil down to that. And Nagesh, you got anything else? Because we're at like 5 minutes left, but we'll overrun by like 15, 20 minutes. If Dave's okay with it, and we're going to do an after.
Let's get callers, because I know our rambles.
We're going to do like an after party and stuff like that, but on my personal channel. So it'll be fun. Coctopus is probably taking a shower and doing something else I really don't want to know about. But let's bring Dragnot in here and see what he has to ask you.
Yep.
Drag, you there? What's up, man? What you got for Dave Fitzgerald? Any questions?
Yeah, I've spoken to him before. I think it was on Neo's show or whatnot. But someone told me this before, and I had a Mormon buddy when I was going through medic training, and he kind of marginalized this. But I was very curious as to why Mormons didn't allow blacks to actually hold the priesthood.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when you were asking him that, to see what he had to say about that. Yeah, I've got a whole chapter in the book called White or Wrong, where it just puts, it's not just blacks. They are also prejudiced against the Indians, and we're sure that their skin was dark because of sin and because of the way when they were spirit children before the beginning of the world, they allied with Satan. So that's why they were punished with black skin. And it's not even that cut and dry, because they had so much success with missionary work in like the Pacific Islands and New Guinea and places like that, where they finally decided, oh, well, it's not just black skin, it's just African black skin. So it's like, what? And it wasn't until the Civil Rights Act came out when they realized, you know what, we might be able to be sued for this. All of a sudden, boom, next thing you know, they have a revelation, changes everything. And all these upper muckety mucks in the church who would just used to spout off on why blacks are just can't be in the church because of this, that are bad, and it's not our fault, we're not being prejudiced, no, God set this whole thing up, that all just went away. And as soon as the church told them, oh, okay, we're not doing that anymore, they just literally would say, okay, ignore everything I said about that. Boom. It just that much of a 180. And you know what? You heard it here first. The church, I guarantee it, is going to do the same thing with gay people. I guarantee it.
I agree with you, actually, and I think that's the explanation I received from him. And actually, what you were describing reminds me of that weird Mormon cartoon that I saw on YouTube.
Oh yeah, the Godmakers.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like some Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings thing, except with Mormon angels.
Yeah, is that actually accurate?
Yeah, it is pretty accurate. Yeah, I'm trying to remember offhand the details of it. I mean, it's worth watching just because it's so out there. It's really groovy. But yeah, Jesus and Lucifer are brothers, and they're brothers of God, who's really named Elohim. It's beautiful. It's very Dungeons and Dragons. Very, very cool stuff.
Yeah, Drag, from what I know, it's pretty accurate, man. I mean, it definitely follows the book pretty well.
Yeah. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce. That's my. I always say a lot. Drag, any other questions you got for us, or any question for the panel? Actually, any topic that we discussed tonight?
Oh no, I actually enjoyed the conversation thoroughly. I have a headache right now, so I'm still trying to follow along and watch fucking BTW face, whatever. But I want to give somebody else a chance to talk too.
No, absolutely, I appreciate it. Anybody else want to come in, Coctopus? You want to come in and ask David? It'd be good for you, Coctopus, to come in since you just got out of your shower and whatever else you freaking did. Come in and ask David Fitzgerald, author of the new book, The Mormons. David Fitzgerald, okay? The Complete Heretic's Guide to Western Religion. That actually E-Prime just won on the forums. He answered the question right along with 4 other people. And awesome. So he wins this book. I'm going to send that to him Monday. So he won the book. I will send that to E-Prime. Contact me. You know how to contact me, I think. Give me your P.O. box or address. I'll send it to you. And we're going to bring Coctopus in real quick. And
while you're doing that, David, do you know what your next book's going to be on and how long it's going to take and all that?
Yeah, we already went through all those questions
right now. I mentioned this earlier. This may have been when you were off.
You were offline. Yeah,
offline. But yeah, the next book is going to be a follow-up to Nailed called Jesus, Mything in Action. Then I'm going to do an atheist guide to the New Testament, and then I'm going to tackle the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Wow.
And those are the 3 I've got in the pipeline right now.
Well, nothing like biting off a lot, man.
Yeah, it's bad.
So I'm going to bring in Coctopus Prime real quick. Dragnon, thank you for coming out. This show is a little bit different than my personal show. I like to keep like 20 people on at one time, which is going to be the after party show in a little bit. And I will add you, Dragnon, if you want. But I'm going to drop you. I'm going to bring Coctopus Prime in real quick, okay?
Oh, no
Thanks,
problem.
man. Thanks for yeah, great question, man. Thank you very much. So we're going to add Coctopus Prime in here. Coctopus Prime, David, be easy on him, all right? Because, you know, you got to be easy on this fucking guy here. Got to be easy on this guy, you know. Hey, Cock, what's up?
How you doing, buddy?
What's up, bro?
Hey, Cock.
I hate this job. I gotta do something else.
Oh, okay, we're going to vent on the after party. What question
No, I'm done. It's just fucking really frustrating. And so, yeah, I'm just... Like I was at work, and when I actually was going to leave really early so I could get here for like the whole show, because I haven't been for seen a show from beginning to end on Skeptic Fence like ever in my life. So I got,
this is true, actually.
And they're like, okay, you can go. And then before I could get my ass out the door, like it got busy as shit, and I had to stay for another almost 2 hours.
Oh fuck!
So, yeah, I mean, like whatever. I get paid hourly, so
Yeah.
I'm getting paid, but the whole point was that I want to catch one of these shows from the goddamn beginning instead of catching it halfway through, which is what I always do. Or better yet, I've jumped in at the very, very end.
At the very end, you usually do, yeah. If you do make it, yeah.
Better late than never.
Yeah, this is true. But yeah, I'm glad to be here, and I'm assuming the top. By the way, have you put out a promotion lately? Because I had to scroll way down in my subscription.
Yeah, I just put one out probably like 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. Yeah.
Well, you're talking about Mormons, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's David's new book. He has a new book out, Coctopus. It's The Mormons, David Fitzgerald. You might have seen that video I put out probably like 3 weeks ago about this book. And E-Prime just won this book, and it's about the Mormons. So I'm sure Coctopus...
How do I get one?
Ask David. David, how's Coctopus get one? And by the way, David,
on Amazon?
Coctopus Prime is a very, very, very popular YouTuber, by the way. So, and a good friend of mine, I should say. So, take care of this guy right here.
Yeah, well, I would love a copy of that. I've read like every book in my house twice, and I'm just about to finish reading The Stand, unabridged edition, which is like 1,300 pages.
I was gonna say that's a brick of a book.
Yeah, and I'm at like, I mean, there's barely a sliver of I'm like trying to slow make it last because I don't have any damn thing else to read. So that would be perfect.
Gotta load this man up with books.
Damn, I just read last year Ayn Rand's what's that book that she had?
Atlas Shrugged?
Yeah, Atlas Shrugged. It was like 1,400 pages, 1,600 pages.
That was a real fun read, wasn't it?
Yeah, real fun.
She's a real charmer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't understand people like that, to be quite honest with you, but
David,
it's right up there with the Book of Mormon.
In
terms of retarded shit that people will believe.
Yep. And speaking of that, if you want to buy my book,
I mean, seriously, if it's on Amazon, I'll probably go buy it.
Coctopus is the internet, dude. He'll buy it right away. Buy it off in person.
You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Barnes and Nobles. You can get it in e-form from any of those things and from Smash Words. Or my favorite option, just shoot me a thing on a message on Facebook or email me, and I'll sell it to you directly for cheaper than either of those two outfits.
And sign it.
And I'll sign it too. So hey, everybody wins.
I'll take that offer.
Yeah, Cocktopus, I'll message you that so you can
message me his email so I can email him.
Well, yeah, in case you need my email, it's everybodylovesdave@gmail.com.
Everybody is gay.
That's
That's a typical Cocktopus off the cuff fucking joke. Oh boy.
For you.
It is. Everybody loves gay Dave. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, the fun we have here.
Now I'm gonna have to go buy that website name.
For all the people that actually.
Well, I looked up. Everybody's gay for Dave.
Everybody loves gay Dave.
Fitzgerald.
That's it. Wait, no, that's not it. What?
Always good
Gay
for
Dave at gmail.com.
Oh, Cocktopus. No.
I know, really, right? Look at his name, Cocktopus.
I mean, this is coming from a guy who calls himself Cocktopus.
Exactly. Yeah.
So don't take it with a grain of cocaine.
Take it all, says Cocktopus.
Yeah, take it. It's so embarrassing when people at work are like, "Didn't you say you had a YouTube channel?" And like, I wanted to look up some of your videos. Like, first, I hate that. Hate it because my videos are really abrasive, like really abrasive.
Yeah, they are.
And so people, even if you agree with me, you might not like my videos. And so I hate doing it to friends and like your coworkers and stuff because I'm afraid that they'll not, that they just won't like it or they'll think less of me or whatever, which I really shouldn't give a rat's ass about. But at work, I like to keep it, calm, civil, and everything. But when I actually tell them, no, this is what you got to look up, Cocktopus.
Cocktopus.
Look up Cocktopus online, and you'll find me. People give me this look.
That's
like
so funny.
I just passed 24,000 subscribers. It's not a whole lot, but.
And are those? Wait, a quick question: are those zeros in your name for Cocktopus, or are those capital O's? Or does it even matter?
There's zeros.
There's zeros.
It's my nerdy tech lingo.
Yeah, I make sure I get
This is back when putting zeros in everything instead of O's and ones instead of L's was real cool.
Yeah.
But real quick, I
just passed, I think, like 6 years on YouTube.
Yeah, he's been on a while. He's a really good guy, and actually, he's helped me, and I've helped him in the last couple years, I should say, not few years, couple years. And we're good buds, me and Cocktopus. But what I want to do right now is, guys, everybody, I got to close the show down. We're going to go over to my personal channel, my private channel, Live Life 8072, and I'll post a link here. If somebody wants to post a link there, it's I'll take it, Tom, or anybody out there. I got a closing statement. David Fitzgerald, thank you for coming once again. You're a friend of the show, and we're friends of yours. And great job, man, you're doing.
Love you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, love you too, man. And
great to have you back online.
It was very nice meeting you, and I will buy that book.
Rock on, Cocktopus.
Gaymail.com. I got it.
And yeah, go ahead here. That's where we're going. So head over there, and we're gonna be doing an after party over there. Dave Fitzgerald, do you want to join us for a little bit or no?
I'll join you for a little bit. I gotta go pick up my girlfriend in about 20 minutes. So
okay, a little bit. Stay here if you want, and we'll do that. All right. Negation and Pay, you're gonna join us, right?
Yeah, I'll stick around.
Cocktopus, of course, I know you'll probably join us, right?
I gotta pick up my girlfriend too. She rides on the handlebars.
Oh, fucking unbelievable. All right, we're going to close this show down. We're heading over to Live Life 8072 channel, guys. Here it is. Here's the link right there. Go, and we're going to do it. And love you guys. Video will be live soon. Video should be live soon. All right.